Good afternoon, everyone. My name's Elliot Darling, and I'm a product lead in the Canva ecosystem group.
And I'm Allie Stratz. I'm a strategic partner manager on the ecosystem team, and I see some familiar partner faces out there.
Canva's mission is to empower every person to design and enable every organization to harness the power of visual communication. But we can't do that alone. That's where you come in.
You've heard all day today. We have 190 million monthly active users and over 300 apps in our ecosystem, and we want you to add to it. So how can you do that? How can you grow your business and join Canva's ecosystem? That's what we want to talk to you about today. And then we want to bring 3 of our partners on stage to talk about all the tips and tricks that they've applied to their businesses to be super successful in our ecosystem as well.
Right, in this first half of the session, we'll dive into 4 key ways to build a lovable Canva app that works for your business. We're going to run through localizing for a global audience, meeting users where they are, creating a seamless experience, and talking about how you can leverage all the things that the Canva Developers Platform has to offer.
All right, let's get started with localization. So first off, you want to consider where it is that your users are and what workflow that you're building for. Continue on. Yes.
Canva è disponibile in italiano?
Sì, Canva is available in Italian. Oh, yes. And French as well. In fact, almost 60% of Canva's users are accessing the platform in a language other than English. Our API docs and migration guides will get you started and be able to adapt any existing apps into our ecosystem in multiple languages. You can actually test your app in a pseudo locale to test it for right to left, long, and tall languages. And as you've heard today, our translation services are absolutely free. Once your app is ready, submit it for review, and we will translate it into all of our available languages. But Elliot, localization is about more than just translations.
It certainly is. A single word can make or break your user experience. And this is especially true when your app is used by a global audience. So, keep your UI simple, avoid using acronyms, abbreviations, slang, jargon, and jokes in your interface. Consider the sentence, "I'm about to eat a kiwi." Are you meaning the fruit, the bird, or me? Context matters, and in a limited UI with a global audience, that context isn't always clear. Now, I'm not saying you need to be boring. Some personality is great, but when you're building your app, really consider, could this be interpreted in another way? Is there a way I could see this, make this more seamless?
And just like words, images also matter. So consider the owl, which often is associated with wisdom, with knowledge, and is often used in an education app. But that's applicable in Western cultures, but in parts of Asia, it's actually considered a bad luck symbol. So your wise design choice could have somebody second-guessing your app. Make sure that you are choosing something that is universally understood and does not require translation. However, if you do need to translate it, keep your words and your images separate so that you can use the same image across the board, just with different languages.
Now, let's talk about links. There's an external link component in the App UI kit made just for that. Seems simple enough, right? Click here, go there. But even links can lead us astray if we're not careful. You should only link the action you want the user to take or the specific destination they'll land on. Because different languages have different word orders. What fits snugly together in English might end up on opposite sides of the sentence in German or Japanese. So, think small. Use your external link component for single terms or short phrases, and they won't get lost in translation. Right, what did we discover? Use Canva's translation services. They're absolutely free, and there's some amazing tools to make sure your app looks great in all languages. Look for double or triple meaning in your words and images. Keep them simple and keep your sentences and images separate, and keep your links short.
Awesome. The second key thing to think about is meeting users where they are. what device they're using. Is it a mobile? Is it a laptop? Is it a desktop computer? And what parts of Canva they're accessing.
So this audience that you've just localized your app for, the majority of them are actually using Canva on a mobile device. Fortunately, mobile support for Canva apps is super easy. You can use the same code base for your mobile and web app. The app UI kit was just made for mobile, and there's no need for responsive designs. On web, the object panel is the same width as the app panel on mobile. And it's super easy to test your app. Simply upload your JavaScript bundle, pull out your phone, and head to the Canva Apps Marketplace. A partner you would have heard about earlier today, Crikey AI, was desktop only when they first launched. This meant that they were losing every single person that was discovering them on mobile and hitting a dead end. Now, that traffic, a whopping 20%, is able to discover the Crikey AI app in the Canva Apps Marketplace on any device.
As we heard about in the keynote, we want to meet users where they are, and that means surfacing the right app at the right time during the right project. This also helps our apps feel super native within Canva, and it helps make them also more discoverable. So surfaces, as you also heard about in the keynote, have been a key contributor to this. We have apps in the photo editing panel, the surface search results in the text tab, as well as elements tab, and this has netted us some pretty incredible results, with over 1 million monthly users with one of our photo apps and over 17 million photos edited just this year. And we're consistently adding to our apps marketplace in terms of where we feature apps, trending apps, and also what's new to educate users on what we've added and what we're really excited about.
We've also been working really hard to understand how users design, how they use Canva, and how apps fit into that workflow. We've been taking that knowledge, adding a sprinkling of AI, and are starting to now recommend apps to users, enabling them to find tools that help them achieve their needs that they might not otherwise have found. We're super committed to getting apps deeply integrated into all the right user journeys. It's a real partnership. Your success is our success.
So let's sum up. We want to think about when users are using Canva and when we can surface an app and where they're working, what part of the workflow we might be able to integrate a new discoverable app and change their project.
Just as every word matters, every click does too. We're about to show you some options for entirely removing the friction of authentication and payment from your Canva apps. Now, let's talk about a little trap we've seen a few developers fall into: having authentication and login as the very first step when a user lands in their app. This is adding some of the highest friction possible, all before a user can even get a taste of what your app has to offer. And I know what you're thinking, but we need to know who the users are. And you're absolutely right. But users are easily spooked. Ask for too much, too soon, and they're gone quicker than you can say password requirements. Fortunately, we do have a solution for this. Our user API allows you to track Canva users across web and mobile. No passwords to forget, no emails to verify, and no users getting lost in between platforms. This can all be done without adding any friction to the onboarding process. And you'll still be able to type content back to a user, enforce usage limits, and things like that. And when you absolutely, positively do need authentication up front, like maybe your app is all about bringing content from your platform into a user's design, there's no need to worry. The friction isn't as bad when they know and love you, so they're willing to go through that process. Plus, our V2 Apps SDK has made that process smoother than ever.
You heard about this morning, or if you were at Extend last year, you might have heard us originally talk about this as a newly launched program, but our $50 million Canva Developers Innovation Fund helps with the development of really cool apps that just make your project easier, make your workflows more seamless, and are just really badass to check out. But there's two different pieces to this. The first is the developer grants, which are allowing us to support the innovation and the development of these new apps to add to our ecosystem, as well as the App Adoption Awards, which once you've developed an app, you've released it into the wild in our ecosystem, we want to reward you for hitting certain usage milestones. To date, almost 40% of the apps in our ecosystem have qualified for either of the tiers of our innovation fund. For more details about eligibility, usage tiers, and really how to get started with this, and just some more details about how cool it is, check out canva.dev or head to the engineering lab downstairs, and you can have an in real life conversation.
Right. The most exciting new way to add monetization without friction to your app is the Premium Apps program.
Woo!
Think of this like the Creators Program for designers, but tailored specifically for app developers like you. It gives you the opportunity to get paid monthly for offering premium features in your app to paid Canva users. Right, let's dive into how this works. First, we'll work with you to determine the best features to make premium. Maybe this is some advanced functionality, automations, a bit more AI. It might even be your entire app. This premium functionality is then made available to Canva paid users. And it's the engagement with these features that earns you revenue. Free users will be able to continue to use the non-premium aspects of your app, and they'll be able to seamlessly upgrade to a paid Canva trial to test them out. But the best part is, if the upgrade happens through your app, you'll earn a bonus on top.
I love that.
So, premium apps are those that are a delight to use and meet the needs of our pro users and all the quality benchmarks, such as mobile compatibility, multi-language support, and of course, that beautiful UI experience. Now, we've already been working with a few partners to shape this program, and the results have been so fantastic that we're going to launch this wider later this year. So what should you keep doing? Keep building, keep improving, and keep taking advantage of everything that the Canva platform has to offer, and keep your eyes out for announcements later this year.
Awesome. That's really exciting. I am personally very, very stoked for this Premium Apps program. So what have we just talked about in this section? 1, don't spook your users. Rethink your authentication approach, and ideally don't make it step 1. Leverage the innovation fund so you don't introduce that payments friction, and you can reward yourself for the incredible contributions that you've made to the Canva Apps Marketplace. And keep an eye out for those Premium Apps program updates.
Right, let's move on to the fourth and final key thing to think about. How are you going to leverage everything else that the Canva Developers Platform has to offer? Our app review process is the final step, and it's all about the finishing touches, making sure your app looks and feels like a part of Canva. As a design platform, all of our users have come to expect a certain level of design quality across the entirety of Canva, including apps. That's why every app is rigorously reviewed with our UI and UX guidelines front of mind to get them to use your app and keep coming back.
Our Canva Developers Partner Program is something you also heard about this morning, but we are putting together a more formalized program to help support the launch of these apps and the longevity of them in our apps marketplace. And that includes a marketing toolkit that has a few different aspects to it, but I'll give you a sneak peek of some of the things that are inside. Of course, being included in the apps marketplace, number 1, you'll be part of a community of over 300 rigorously reviewed and beloved apps in our marketplace with opportunities to be surfaced in different areas, more searchable, and also featured in trending, what's new, and honestly just apps that we love and want to make sure that more users are able to find. If you're writing a press release, we do want to help tell that better together story. We love helping you get in front of media and get them really excited about new app launches. So get in touch with us and we can work with you on securing a quote from our senior leadership to include in any press materials. And if you're posting on social media, we'd love to help amplify your app as well. So be sure to tag us, shoot us a note at this email address on the screen, and we would love to raise it with our marketing team and make sure that it gets some additional eyeballs.
And once your app is out in the wild with a dose of marketing behind it, how are you going to really see the success? Our analytics platform provides you the ability to see how many users are viewing your listing, how many people are installing it, and how many people are actually using your app, providing you a seamless way to monitor your app's growth in Canva's ecosystem. It's something we'll set you up with at the very end of the app review process.
And if you're stuck, we have a robust Canva developers community with thousands of developers who have built on Canva, are currently building, as well as Canva's own developer relations team, who is going to be on there answering questions, taking feature requests, and generally supporting you on your journey building within Canva. All right, that was a lot of things. What did we talk about here? The app review process is the very last step before getting listed, and we will help you through every step of the way and provide as much feedback as needed to just make sure that this is the best app that our marketplace has ever seen. We have the marketing support in place to make it a splashy launch and help you get additional eyeballs on this new app in the marketplace. We have analytics and insights in place so you can see how many people are adding your app to a design, overall usage, and really have real-time insights into how successful your app is, as well as our dev community, who is here to support and also here in the building today to have those supportive conversations with you in real life. Elliot, I think that was enough of us talking.
I think so.
And I think we've shared a lot of insights about what it takes to be successful and to build a winning app on Canva. But I think it'll be more impactful if maybe we bring up some real life stories.
All right, let's do it. Please join me in welcoming Giancarlo, Felix, and Cecilia to the stage.
Amazing. Thank you all for being here. I think before we get started, let's introduce you to our audience. And Giancarlo, let's start with you.
Sure. Thanks so much for having me here. First of all, I really appreciate it. Hi, everybody. My name is Giancarlo. I'm one of the co-founders of Zeppelin Labs, which is what we call a digital research and development lab. And we are creating digital products for the creative community. Some of our apps include type graph, type gradient, type extrude, type lettering, and type cutout. So yeah, thank you.
I love it, and we love those apps. We've seen them a lot today. Felix, let's hear from you. Introduce yourself to the audience.
Thank you, Allie. So my name is Felix Turner, and I am the founder and developer of PhotoMosh. And PhotoMosh is a web app which allows you to apply real-time visual effects to images and video.
I love it, and we love those apps as well. We've seen those a few times today. Cecilia, we'll wrap up with you.
Sure. First of all, thank you so much for having me here today. What a pleasure. My name is Cecilia. I'm a strategic partnerships lead from Meta, and in my role, I develop partnerships with global creative and commerce platforms to build products and launch solutions to help our advertisers succeed on our platform. So I've been partnering with Canva for the past 3 years, and personally, I'm also a power user of Canva. My favorite use case include product mockups for work and birthday videos for personal.
Love it. We make a lot of birthday videos over here, too. All right, we have a lot to cover today, so we are just going to dive in with the very first question. We'll start very basic. Why build on Canva? What were some of your goals? Giancarlo, let's start with you.
Giving a little bit of context, we've been building and serving the creative community for some years now. So when the Canva team mentioned to us that this new marketplace initiative was about to launch, joining was kind of a no-brainer for us. I remember at that time we were looking at 3 things mostly. First one is how engaged and rapidly growing the Canva community is. And actually that makes it an ideal ground for innovation. Second one is Canva's unique positioning to actually empower non-designers to create professional grade assets, I would say, which really aligns with our own mission. And third, we were actually thinking and have the firm belief that if you are actually bringing and giving real value to the Canva community, there is a real chance to build an exciting business around this. And I would say that's what will allow us to keep bringing more cool stuff to the community, which I would say is one of our main goals here.
I love that. I love that, and I really am glad that you brought up the community again, because we are such big fans of our community. If you want to have a conversation, again, downstairs in the engineering lab, but we have thousands of people who are involved in just answering questions and forwarding the mission of making Canva an empowering place to design for anyone. So really appreciate you bringing that back up. Felix, what were your initial goals when you got started building on Canva?
So back in 2020, Canva invited me to integrate some PhotoMosh effects into the Canva platform. And then last year when the new App Store was launched, we updated these effects to work with the new apps SDK. And we published 6 separate apps, which each bundle a different set of PhotoMosh effects. So my main goal building on Canva was to increase the awareness of the PhotoMosh brand and also hopefully generate sales for PhotoMosh Pro.
Yeah, I love that. And Felix actually brings up kind of a unique partner benefit, having been with us since even before the apps marketplace really came together, in that we build very deep relationships with our development partners. And when we see opportunities to bring in their technology to fill some product gaps, it's really wonderful to be able to lean on some of the developers that we have strong relations with, who have created apps that our community loves, and be able to bring more of those to the marketplace. So we appreciate you being part of it. Cecilia, I would love to talk more about the ad tech partnership between Meta and Canva. We are all big fans of the design check. Tell us a little bit more about the goals of the initiative and how that kind of came together.
Sure. So today we know that many marketers are using Canva to design creatives for both organic and paid media for Meta. So we really wanted to meet users where they are. In this case, that's in Canva. So we co-developed this app that's called Meta Design Check. With this app, the idea is that users can run through their finished design and get instant feedback if they are already meeting our creative best practice. If not, how they can use Canva to improve their design right there. And we developed this app because we have heard feedback from our advertisers that it can be hard to keep up with our creative best practice because they are different by placement and they also change from time to time, right? So with this app, we really hope to simplify the creative process and make it easier for users to adopt Meta's creative best practice.
Yes, we love anything that makes our lives easier. I love that you brought up discoverability. We love to meet users where they are. I don't know if we've mentioned that today, maybe a couple of times, but very, very important for us to really help just streamline workflows and make everything a little bit more seamless.
Yeah, 100%. And I just love all the different perspectives and different ways that different companies of different sizes are managing to work with Canva. All right, let's keep this going with another pretty simple question. Tell us about your overall app experience. How did you approach building on Canva? Felix, let's start with you this time.
Sure. So the Canva developer portal is really nice. Everything you need to upload and publish your app is right there. The SDK APIs are well thought out and pretty robust. We were mostly using the overlay API, and I actually got to suggest some improvements as it was being developed. The Canva QA team did a great job responding to many versions of the apps being uploaded. So I'd like to give a shout out to the Canva QA team.
Yes,
Yeah,
Canva
massive
QA
shout out
team.
to them. Yeah, often the unsung heroes inside of a business. We're so thrilled to hear that. Cecilia, let's hear from you next. Talk to us about Meta's experience building with Canva.
Sure. So we have taken a very collaborative approach when it comes to building this app with Canva. And we were so grateful for the amazing support we received from the team, including full UX, UI support. Shout out to Simone sitting right there. And go-to-market support and engineering consulting support. To give you an example, for the app review process, Canva team really helped us a lot through that process. They started by setting up the right expectations up front on things like Canva's UI standards, so we knew what to expect. And later on, it gave us really thorough and detailed feedback, so that I think that really helped improve our overall app experience. And outside of building the app, we also worked hand in hand with the ecosystem marketing team at Canva. We actually had coordinated campaigns running from both sides to amplify the message. The most effective tactic, I think, was the hero banner that was featured in our app in the Canva app marketplace, because almost immediately after it went live, we saw a significant jump on our app install and usage stats.
Amazing. We loved working with you on that app. And we're really grateful that you've taken some of the design feedback that we provided and incorporated it into the Meta Design Check app. And it was such a great GTM launch, having things happening on both sides. Giancarlo, you've been a busy man, I know that. What about you?
Building on Canva has been pretty smooth, to be honest. Documentation is super clear as well as the SDK. To be honest, getting your first app live is super easy. At some point though, and I need to be honest, the app review process wasn't the fastest in the world. Though I have to say that the design and functional review that you get out of the app review team is incredible and really helpful. So you can get out there a really high quality app. Then another truly remarkable thing I would say is how the Canva team really listens to the developer community, and that's super clear in each API upgrade that you see. And yeah, I'm thinking about the image overlay API that you guys were mentioning, the brand kit colors, the analytics that we were looking at today. So yeah.
Yeah, awesome. Yeah, our feedback does take a little bit of time, but we provide bespoke design feedback for every app in the app review process. Go above and beyond to make sure that it really fits with Canva and has the best chance of success. I want to dig into something a little deeper that Giancarlo and Cecilia, you touched on, discoverability within the ecosystem. Ellie, there were some things you wanted to ask?
Yeah, I'll jump in with this one. This is really becoming one of my favorite topics of the day, discoverability. I would love to dive into what has been the biggest driver for your success on the platform. Giancarlo, we'll continue on your trajectory. Let's start with you.
Yeah, sure. So here is how we think about success. So the first thing to get right from the very beginning is making sure that you are actually putting out a high quality product for users, and hopefully you are actually solving real user problem. So let's say that you get that right, then we are mostly doing two things, I would say. First one is trying to drastically decrease the number of clicks needed to get to a specific result inside the platform. Or second one, we are actually trying to bring something totally new to the platform. Then another big part, I would say, of our success is tied to Canva's team constant experimentation and new initiatives. And I'm thinking about, for example, the text tab that we were looking at today. That's incredible for text-related apps. I'm also thinking about, for example, getting featured in the main banner, in the main marketplace banner, or maybe in app categories. All of the latter really helps with users discovering your apps, and actually, if they are good enough, they're gonna be talking about it with other users. More users are gonna be discovering your apps, and it's gonna feed this kind of growth flywheel. So yeah.
Yeah, really has a snowball effect.
Yeah.
We definitely prioritize high quality apps, and as we love to say, we love to meet users where they are, and whatever surface that means that we want to surface your app in to make sure that it gets in front of them for that project. That is our main goal, and it's been really wonderful that that's contributed so much to all of the apps in your marketplace or in your portfolio. Felix, what would you say you prioritize?
So for the PhotoMosh apps, we prioritize instant response and instant feedback. This makes the apps more fun to use and drives reuse. So far with our apps, the usage has been pretty good. So we're currently getting around 100K monthly app installs for each of the 6 apps.
Amazing. And I will say I am at least one of those. I used his app Color Mix to, I would say, improve my headshot when I was promoting this event on LinkedIn. And I liked the image so much that I actually made it my current and probably permanent photo on Slack. So thank you for that. I have a lovely rainbow gradient. Elliot, let's continue on this and dive a little deeper into success strategies. I'm going to throw the next question over to you.
Yeah, sure thing. So this one's for you, Cecilia. We've got a lot of people in the audience that are trying to grow their app, doing promotions on different platforms. I thought I'd take advantage of you being here and see if you could recommend a couple of strategies for executing successful advertising campaigns on the Meta platform.
Sure. So first of all, creative is definitely a top lever to drive campaign success, and that we've seen that proven out time and again in different studies. And there are different ways to be successful on Meta advertising, but today I want to talk about Reels, which is a hugely popular and fast-growing format. In fact, in our recent earnings call, we highlighted that Reels today already make up for 50% of time spent within Instagram, right? So I'd highly recommend incorporating Reels as part of your overall Meta advertising strategy. Now, if developing engaging Reels from scratch seems very daunting and you don't know how to get started, I've got good news for you today. We recently partnered with the Canva templates team to develop this new batch of Reels template. So it has specific music that's developed for Reels. The music is beat synced to the transition of the templates, and these templates are developed based on popular Reels narrative templates that tend to work well on our platform. So these templates are live right now on our Meta creator profile page on Canva, so please check them out.
Amazing. Love scrolling some Reels, but could definitely use some support for making my own. All right, we've got a couple of questions left. Ellie, should we make this one a lightning round?
Yeah, let's do that. All right, I'm going to look for a one-sentence answer to this question. And Cecilia, I think we'll start with you. What do you wish you knew when you got started building on Canva?
So maybe not so much what we wish we knew, but what we wish we have. We would love to have more detailed app analytics available so we can figure out ways to continue to drive more usage and engagement with our app.
All right, awesome. Felix, how about you? What do you wish you knew before building?
So I probably overestimated the amount of time it was going to take to integrate into Canva. And then I probably underestimated just the size of the Canva user base.
Yeah, fair. Giancarlo, what do you wish you knew?
I wish I knew just how committed you guys are at Canva to actually deliver the most possible value to users, and that the Canva way was only certainly going to grow bigger and bigger, so making it kind of an ideal time to jump in.
The ideal time to jump in.
Jump in now.
And don't worry, Cecilia, we do have more analytics coming for you. All right, let's bring this home with one final question, a nice easy one. What is next? Felix, let's start with you.
So in the future, we'd like to extend our apps to handle videos and animated GIFs, and then also just to bring in a bunch more PhotoMosh effects.
Yeah, nice. We'd definitely love to see more apps working with video. Giancarlo?
Short term, we are focusing on two main streams. One of them is about upgrading our existing apps with more cool stuff. The other one is actually about, we are preparing a couple of new apps to bring to the Canva ecosystem. And actually, we are pretty excited about these apps because they revolve around images. And we haven't done anything yet in the Canva ecosystem in the images realm. So we are super keen to hear what users have to say about them.
Amazing. Between the two of you, users are going to be able to really enhance their images. And Cecilia?
So we actually started exploring the development of a potential second Meta app in Canva just because how well the first one has done. I can't share too much right now, but more info will come on that. On the other hand, we have a very exciting promotion coming up in October to drive the adoption of our first app, that's Meta Design Check. Essentially, we will be offering Meta Ad Credit to eligible Canva users who have completed our app flow and achieve a green result for Reels. So stay tuned on that. That's coming very soon.
Ooh, some exciting things ahead. You heard it here first. Guys, I'm truly inspired, and I'm so glad you're having such tremendous success on the Canva developer platform. Thank you so much for joining us at Extend to share your learnings, recommendations, and success stories. All right, let's give these folks a round of applause.